second time around. Whenever you guys are ready, go ahead and send it. Once we get the last guys in from their final second time, we'll then begin the top 32 NAC. Which our first battle is Team Elite versus Team Elite. It is Gabriel versus Sebastian. Alright, we have our two last drivers after all the games. When everybody comes back. Alright, so Gabriel and Sebastian, you guys are going to be our first drivers out here for this other half of the top 32. Formed up again and used to the track after sitting for quite some time. So now that we're getting their side laps in, hopefully we'll be able to realign themselves with the track and know exactly how to throw it down, going into the top 32. So far so good. These cars are keeping up sideways and looking good while doing it. Those guys are initiating that first one in the box. Make sure that you want to get some good points. Flick that rear end just like what Christian is doing and keeping that car under control as you go throughout the rest of the course. Alright, and we just have a Giannis driver waiting for his second run. And now we're about to get into the first top 32 battle, which I will give you information on that. Who's going up against you very shortly. So, up first at the 9, I'm going to need Joshua versus Brad. Joshua from Strictly Sideways. Your drivers, are you ready? Everybody else, are you guys ready to kick off this top 32? We got Strictly Sideways versus Broke Boys, 350Z versus GR86. Here we go with Joshua in the lead with a really nasty initiation to the start. Wow, just running door to door as we go through this entire course here. Looking good with both cars just going neck and neck. A little bit of a drop in time for the chase car, but that's okay. That's allowed with the good proximity amongst these drivers. Wow! Really putting it on the line in that Strictly Sideways. Kicking it off super strong with a beautiful lead by Josh and a wonderful chase by Fred. So let's now swap sides with Fred in the lead, Joshua in the chase. That was a really good first half of that battle right there, if I do say so. And now with that, let's get to the second half where the judges ready, the drivers ready. Watch the lights.
But I'm like, I'm not going to press random buttons on the car.
Here we go with a really nice acceleration from Fred in the lead. A wonderful click from Joshua in the GR86. Absolutely fantastic. Both cars speed through this course as they go to that first outside zone. Not sure if that was too into the box. I'll ask that was the second one. But let's see if we can clean up again nice and deep into that one. Nicely done by Fred in that 350Z. Joshua breathing down his neck in the chase of that GR86. Nearly pushing him across the line. Here we go, the second battle of the top 32. Christian in the lead, Louis in the chase. Louis is an absolute crazy chase driver, hunting down Christian. Christian, however, and his S15 are not backing down from this battle as they go into that first outside zone. Really nice sweep of that first zone and the second zone, connecting and linking them up. Louis is putting that pressure on him, but Christian is unfazed as he goes into the final zone with a beautiful, fantastic lead. Louis with an aggressive chase! That was some absolute crazy driving. Out of the aggressive moment to get Louis off of the sand pit there, whatever that's called, the rubble strip, that's what it's called. Wow, that was an insane lead by Christian and a nasty chase by Louis. This is what drifting's all about. Close proximity and absolutely crazy talented driving. So with that pumped-up drift battle going ahead, judges, are we ready? Drivers, are you ready? Let's light them up. Pro Boys leading the first half of this battle with Christian and Tail hunting down in that well-overdose S15. Really good looking S15 as both drivers go side by side into this corner. Woo, a little bit of a tap causes Christian to back off, but now regain as he dives back on and reaches infinity. Here we go, watch the transition as we go bumper to bumper, all the way angled out, side by side, connecting with. Let's send them on their way. And here we go, the lights are gone, and here we go with the battle of Will versus Devin. Oh, an insane flick to that first outside zone with Devin right on his bumper and his door. William on face giving him a super clean line as they both go through the course from that second outside zone to the third. Both S. Jackson are looking absolutely brilliant as they go into the fourth zone with Will deep inside of the outside zone, including the final zone with Devin. Is on his tail. Wow. Drivers, are you guys ready? Let's go ahead and line them up. And the second half of the battle has just begun, with Devin taking a really great lead. William, whoa, almost overtaking him, but he's getting wheel-to-wheel lock with Devin right now. Just right underneath him in this top 32 battle. Really nasty on the transition as both drivers safely make their way around the course. With Will trying to boost up on some power in order to get a perfect transition to this final outside zone. Some gap sauce is being applied. Will he close? Yes, he will. Definitely a strong lead line all the way through. He's off to a flying start with Dave Solsky right behind him in that streaming V8. The Apex Glide S13 is fighting that Camaro like it's a dog fight from hell. Both drivers doing significantly well. Even with a really nice transition to flicking his rear end all the way to that outside zone. Dave is keeping back on the proximity, but now rejoins as they go into that outside zone. E-Man is throwing out huge amounts of angle while Dave is taking out the chase. But let's see what the American V8 can do in the lead. So judges, are you ready? Drivers, are you ready? Let's line them up. And here we go with Dave Solsky in the lead in this red double Camaro, followed by E-Man and Apex Glide S13. Let's go ahead and send it to that first outside zone, which is actually pretty decent. E-Man is not backing down with these transitions. He's making sure to put up a really solid fight. Over transition, creating some Solsky energy right behind Dave Solsky himself as we go into the final outside zone. Here we go, folks, with E-Man with the third. And the plot thickens. And here we go. Papu with the lead with a really nice start. Raph in the chase is starting to hunt down Papu with his S15. Beautifully done, by the way. Keep that proximity super close to one another. Papu's going to give him a really solid lead line to chase after, which means that both drivers are going to be going for the entire time during this battle. We do miss that outside zone, but transition beautifully for the final one, which Papu is glued on the rails all the way through that zone with Raph and Tail in the chase. All right, let's light him up. Lights are underway. Raph is off to a great start from the initiation point. Papu with a nasty dive in the chase, not backing down. He's trying to clean up from his lead run, which was pretty decent, but he knows that if he wants to take this home, he's going to do everything in the chase to absolutely dominate the field. Raph is giving him a solid lead line, meaning that both drivers are going to be side by side with each other all the way through the. Raph getting saucy. Drivers, are you guys ready? All right, let's line them up here. We're good? Good? All right, we're good. Line them up. Let's find out from the lead, Kowalski in the yellow Altezza with the beautiful glowing roll plates, followed by King in the Street Vandals BMW. It's about to go down as you go from the inside to the outside clip. Christian with a little bit of a wall tap doesn't upset the momentum of the car too much. David, however, is putting on quite a show in the chase right now. Both drivers are going at it, door to door, wheel to wheel. It's a really phenomenal battle. Whoa! good top 32 battle. We're now going to the final zone. Let's see if David will get close to the ball. He does get close to the ball, but Christian gets even closer. Both ways. Light him up. Here we go. A beautiful clean start from Market League. Anthony already diving in on the chase. Both drivers are not backing down for each other. It's going to be an aggressive battle all around. A solid lead so far from Mark. Anthony with a really good chase. Right now, it looks like Mark is going to keep up with a good lead line. Up, first, a little shot off that box. Really nice in the battle line. Anthony is right behind him in the chase. A beautiful setup from Mark. Woo, a little bit of touch and go off the wall. Watch the lights. Here we go. Mark coming up to the line a little bit because he knows that Anthony's car is like a rocket ship that is just flying out of there into that first outside zone. Nice to cut both drivers' line right back up into close proximity into this next zone. Woo! A little bit of a smack in the face from Anthony's car as he makes a perfect transition. There's Mark just right there on his rear bumper. Coming into now the final outside zone, we have Anthony giving a little bit of a wall tap. Hopefully it's not too much of a correction. Drivers, are you guys ready? Gabriel, light them up. Here we go with the matte black Roughhouse GR86, setting it into that first corner pretty hard with Patrick and his 400Z, both going at it. Both of these brand new cars of today that are shaping out the industry from being the best rear-wheel drive lightweight cars. Mark Charles looks like he's almost over rotating in that first zone. Looks like there. Matches it back up for that final outside zone. Patrick backing off because he knows that he might have a slight advantage if he needs to. Drivers, are you ready? Let's light them up. The second half of the battle is just begun with that iconic beat going into that T. Mark Charleston is already going off course in order to take over Patrick. Patrick, however, is unfazed in his Death Ripper's lead as he goes into that beautiful outside zone. Falling into that second, Mark Charleston is taking a beautiful wide approach. But he's got a fast car there. As you can see, he catches right up right there. But going into that final zone, both drivers are in control. I'm going to go ahead and push the letter B, which stands for battle. So here we go. With the lights aglow, we have Gabriel in the lead with Sebastian in the chase. Really aggressive start with from Sebastian in the chase, getting on Gabriel's door. Gabriel on phase is going to be throwing down a heater of a lead right now. Sebastian taking any advantage of course, in order to catch up and stay on Gabriel's door. Trying to mimic angle for angle with a really nice job from Gabriel with that lead line going to that final outside zone. That rear bumper is nearly parallel right there. Judges, you guys ready up there? Drivers, are you guys ready? All right, watch the lights. And here we go. Sebastian in the lead. With Gabriel in the chase. Beautiful limits. And then we got a little bit of a false out from Sebastian in the lead, but that's okay. He's going to clean it up as he goes into the next outside zone. Gabriel's going to be throwing out some huge angle with that rear bumper. Nearly shutting down the car. Whoa, what is going on over there, folks? Looks like we're taking a little bit of an interesting line in order to regain the speed that we need and momentum. But both elite drivers. And with the lights ding on, it is now into the first half of the battle. With Terry with a phenomenal lead in that RX3, throwing some huge angle in that wagon. Meanwhile, Francis is keeping up quite nicely in that R33. The Death Rippers versus Canada Molingo. It's Canada versus America. And we're going to the outside zone, which is nicely done by Terry. Transitions beautifully, getting super close to that wall over there. A little bit. And here we go with the Death Rippers, R33 in the lead. With the we kind of just shut everything down in that first corner, unfortunately. Jerry getting a little bit tail happy in that first portion of the race. Unfortunately, taking out the R33 as he drives in. Well, judges are going to have to decide on this because technically it's a 0-0 right now, but I think they might have a decision based off of the severity on which the first. Massachusetts driver in the lead, Andy Murdoch, and the initiation, first zone, throws it out, throws that zone, comes in his right side box, hits that inside, just a little shout, comes into the next sweeper zone. Good to have the one classic. Hitting zone 6, builds it, chase bar is not. He's not scared at all, he's winning on full. A little gap toss now, Andy's coming out to finish up the zone, nicely done. Here we go. Okay, and we're off. Ben's coming into the first inside zone clip. Andy's right behind him, not scared. Nice zone throw by Ben. Zone 1 and 2. Andy's still with them on it. Nice zone throw 3. Coming into 4, just a little shallow. Just a little shallow on 5, working on 6. 6 for Bill, working on 7. Transitioning on the inside clip, hits it. Comes in a little high, a little full tap. I guess it's still going. And nicely done. Lining up over here, trying to see who. Here goes Andrew Braverman with a brave start in that R32, followed by Matthew in that Focus. A small body versus a big body. Let's see exactly what's about to be thrown down here today at the Lead Drift Shop NAC track. Here we go going into this outside zone. Andrew's going to line up nicely. He does miss that outside zone, but he's going to line back up with the final outside zone. Matthew Ye and his Focus RS are hunting him down. And here we go. A phenomenal start from both drivers, basically starting at the same time. Matthew with a phenomenal lineup. Andrew right there in the chase position, hunting him down in that long body R32. Meanwhile, Matthew is unfazed in that Focus as he goes through the course, smoothly getting off the zone and making his car look phenomenal. Here we now go into the final outside zone with the inside clip. Oh! A major throw into the wall. That's great for that victory. Meanwhile, Matthew, go ahead and light him up. All right, folks, here we go. With Brett in the lead, Tommy in the chase, turning into a perfect dive, and is right there on the side door of that S13. Here we now go transitioning into that outside zone, whipping the S13 all the way around into that second outside zone, getting nice and deep into the pocket. Meanwhile, Tommy and Jason and Corvette are holding up pretty nicely as we go to that final zone. A beautiful transition into that final zone, and Tommy and Corvette side. With that said, judges, we're ready. Drivers, are you guys ready? Let's light them up. Here we go with a Drift Junkie Corvette, driven by Tommy, followed by Brett strictly sideways S13. Now there's a little bit of a proximity issue going on right now, but wow! Brett is going right back up next to Tommy. And now they're both going at it as they go through the mini S-curve, 5 yards right there. Holding the line all the way out there as we smoothly transition to that outside zone. Tommy getting closer to that little wall right there. You guys look ready. Drivers, you guys look ready. So let's go ahead and light them up and send them on the way. With the lights extinguished, here we go. With Brett in the strictly sideways S13, followed by Tommy in the Drift Junkie Corvette. Tommy is right there, pointing down his neck in the chase position, getting door to door. Brett is unfazed as they both transition beautifully into that second outside zone, keeping that proximity and speed going up. So then the walls out, Brett officially comes the other direction. Tommy is backing off and trying to make sure that Corvette stays planted as he goes all the way through the course. Here we go, the final battle, hopefully the final battle. Tommy in the lead and Brett in the chase. Here we go from that first outside zone, beautifully done by the way, as we transition bumper to bumper into this first outside zone of the 4. Flipping the second beautifully from Tommy, while Brett keeping up in close proximity, matching that angle to his best. Looks like he does overshoot that zone though, but lines it up. What the heck just happened? Here we go, the battle and deciding factor with these two drivers of who's going into top 16. Well, it looks like we're starting this off with a bit of a punt from Chris in the rear. Looks like we're having some issues with the red Delta car trying to get battle again. No contact is made, and wow! A bit of a similar mistake on Jan's part. Diving right into Chris Burrow's car. Watch the lights! Here we go, Mark in the RS, Trevor in the S14. It's a beautiful battle all around. First up, jeez, I can't speak because of how phenomenal that entry was right there. That Yaris has a short body, so he's able to brush right up against those walls and keep those rear tires in the box. Meanwhile, Trevor is going to be throwing down with that RB20 sticking out of the hood, which I think it is an RB20. As we go into that final zone, both drivers have similar proximity and angle going into there. Watch the lights. Here we go with Trevor in the lead, Mark in the chase. And whoa! A little bit of a punchy R has punched himself into that wall.